You felt it your whole life, haven't you? That quiet ache, that knowing that you just don't fit. You walk into rooms and feel like you're watching life happen from behind a glass. You laugh, you talk, you try, but deep down, you know your soul beats to a different rhythm. You love deeply, but few love you the same way back. You show up, but people never seem to show up for you. You cheer for others, yet somehow, when it's your turn, silence. And maybe, just maybe, that's not rejection. Maybe it's redirection. Because God doesn't let everyone clap for you. If they could celebrate you without understanding you, they take credit for what only He could do. And Joseph knew that pain. He was just a dreamer, a boy who saw visions of the future too big for the people around him to handle. And Genesis 37:4 says, when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peacefully unto him. They didn't just dislike him, they resented him. Jealousy always recognizes anointing before it understands it. They threw him into a pit thinking they were burying him, but really, they were planting him. Because the same pit that looked like betrayal was actually the doorway to destiny. Sometimes the people who reject you are just the delivery drivers for your next level. And then there's David, the forgotten one, the son so insignificant his father didn't even bother to invite him. Samuel 16:11 says, and then Samuel said unto Jesse, are all your children here? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. David wasn't overlooked by accident, he was hidden by design. While everyone else was standing in line, David was learning to worship in the wilderness. While they were waiting for recognition, David was learning revelation. The same hands that played a harp for sheep would one day go against a giant. Never mistake being overlooked by people for being forgotten by God. And sometimes the hardest part isn't strangers ignoring you. It's the people who say they love you, acting like they don't see you. Ever notice how friends and family can support celebrities they've never met, but can't show up for the people God placed right beside them? They'll repost a stranger's success, but scroll past yours like it never happened. They'll cheer for the famous, but stay silent for the faithful. It's not that you've done anything wrong, it's that your light exposes their comfort, and your growth reveals where they stopped. Even Jesus felt that. And Mark 6:4 says, a prophet is not without honor, except in his own country and among his own kin, and in his own house. Even his family thought he lost his mind. And Mark 3:21 says, when his family heard about this, they went to take charge of him, for they said, he is out of his mind. If Jesus, the Son of God, could be doubted by his own blood, then rejection isn't your disqualification. It's your identification with him. They said he changed, but he was simply becoming who he was sent to be. Jeremiah understood the same ache. He was the prophet who felt everything too deeply, and I could definitely relate to that. Jeremiah 27 says, O Lord, you deceived me, and I was deceived. I am ridiculed all day long. Everyone mocks me. He tried to quit. He said, I won't speak of you anymore. But verse 9 says, your word is in my heart like fire, a fire shut up in my bones. I'm weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. And that's what it's like when you're chosen. Even when you want to stop, the calling burns too hot to quit. You call yourself the black sheep, but heaven calls you the set apart one. Peter 2:9 says, but ye are chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness in his marvelous light. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to break patterns. You were never created to fit where compromise feels comfortable. You're not being excluded. You're being preserved. Think of Moses, hidden in a basket before he ever parted the seas. Esther, hidden in a palace before she ever saved her people. Jesus, hidden in Nazareth before he ever healed a soul. God hides what he is anointing. He separates what he is strengthening, and he silences what he is sanctifying. In Romans 8:28 says, "And we know all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose." Even the silence, even the envy, even the betrayal. Because when the wrong people stop clapping, it makes space for the right ones to come in. And when God lifts you, you realize he didn't let them support you because he didn't want them to claim your story. Your breakthrough will speak louder than their absence. So, to the ones who feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated, we hear you. God says this, "I see you. I know the nights when your heart broke in secret. I know the tears you never let fall in front of anyone. I see how you love when no one notices, how you give when no one thanks you, and how you keep showing up even when it feels like no one cares. I know what it's like to be rejected by the very ones you prayed for, but I am turning rejection into redirection. The tables are shifting, and when you rise, you won't rise for applause. You'll rise because purpose demanded it. You were never called to fit in. You were called to stand apart. You were never meant to be accepted by the crowd. You were chosen by the King. And that's enough. That is enough. Have a good night, guys.